It's the Hybrid Soul with Kelly Kinkaid. And my guest today, I have the pleasure of seeing him because I've been listening to him for so many years on
Oh,
classic
wow.
songs like I Ain't Mad at You, Toss 'Em Up. And my favorite song right now is his current single, This Song Is For You. Is
Yes,
the
thank you.
one and only Danny Boy Steward. How are you
Hey,
today?
Miss Kelly. Hey, Miss Kelly. I'm well. Hey, everybody. What's going on?
Yes. So, how exciting is it? Because you've been singing basically all your life, you know?
Yes.
So, you are about to release your first solo album. How does that feel?
Listen, as a grown man, like I still feel like a kid in the inside when I first signed my deal at Death Row at 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
I'm so excited because anybody that know me know that I enjoy singing. And I've always wanted that opportunity for people to hear some music, hear more than just a hook.
Yeah.
So now that I have that opportunity and been blessed with such great records, I'm just so ready. I just feel like I got to reboot and just go back out and get out there and figure this thing out. I'm excited.
Yeah, so your voice is legendary. You
Thank you.
came from the death row camp, so you had Nate Dogg, yourself. But let's talk about the classic song with the legend Tupac Shakur. I Ain't Mad at You.
Yes.
I know you got a chance recently to go to the museum and see some of the
Wow.
memorabilia from the video. How was that recording that song with Tupac and the video?
That song, first off, like had always been a favorite of mine, and it wasn't pushed to be a single until Pac passed away.
Uh-huh.
And unfortunately, Pac didn't even get an opportunity to see that video. But I'm so excited and grateful that more than 25, 26 years later, people still remember me. The hair is gone. You know what I mean? They may not remember me by face, but if somebody mentioned, hey, that's Danny Boy that had that sung on the I Ain't Mad at You. It's not a hard, a hard study. And I appreciate that because that was such a small part, but a big part. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It created so many avenues and opened up so many doors just to had an opportunity to work with Tupac.
Right. Is there any story now? Were you all in the studio together when
All the
people
time.
get
I was in the studio. Let me say this right. I
right?
was in the studio. There were two studios, A and a B room.
Uh-huh.
And I would always be in the studio. And if Pac was in the studio back recording, he would walk in the booth while I'm in there recording on my album. Like I know they got a lot of tapings and a lot of film of him saying, "Hey, DB, come in the back, man." While I'm on the mic recording, like coming and talking, say something on the microphone while I'm recording on my record. Uh, and I'm grateful that he always involved me if there was a singing part. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He always involved me. That's how I ended up on so many great songs with him, on records that never came out. Sometimes people that love Tupac, they be finding songs that I haven't heard since I recorded them.
Right.
And I just remember those moments with him saying, "Come jump on this." I just felt like his little musical jukebox.
Yeah. That's not a bad thing at all.
Oh, absolutely.
You grew up in this music
Yes.
industry. And there was some downtime between the music that you recorded and now that you're making music in between. What are some things that if you could tell the younger DB Danny Boy now, what would you kind of tell him now if
Boy,
you go
put some
back?
money up. I would say, boy, put some money up. I would say, I would say, learn the business.
Mm-hmm.
That's more important than anything. For so many years, I found myself prostituting my gift. And
Mm-hmm.
it took for me to become a grown man. And when I say prostituting the gift was, I was excited. I was excited just to be in the studio on the phone, on the microphone. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we're gonna record, just run in the studio. I never thought about the business aspect of it. I never thought about the future part of it.
Yeah.
And it took for me to go through the hardship that I went through after the demise of Death Row to say, hey, you know what? This is more than just singing, especially when you're talking about making it a lifestyle, a career, and something that's going to be able to provide for your family. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say, Danny, take this a little more serious. because if you want to be a part of this you got to know this business. But what I am grateful for is that I was able to be a part of such a great movement at such a young age, that I still have the ability to get out there and try it again. You know what I mean? That my birthday coming up this weekend, I'm not that old. I got a lot of energy and I'm ready to hit a lot of stages.
Yes. And I love that I'm able to see, I can see your smile, because out of all this time, it brought out some things that I know that you have a restaurant in Chicago. So
Yes.
you consider yourself a chef or a cook?
Yes, I am a singing chef.
Okay.
I consider I consider myself as the singing chef.
Right. You're an author. Let's talk about
I
that, your book as well.
Yes, I have a book out that's called Stranded on Death Row, that I'm relaunching. And for those that haven't read it, it's available on Barnes and Noble and Amazon. And I just shared my journey, not just my musical journey. A lot of people think that it's based on death row, but
Mm-hmm.
it's so many things that happen before death row and after death row. And I share those testimony and stories in the book. A lot of people like to say tell all, but it's a share all. I just shared my movement and journey in it, and I hope people will go out and read it.
Yeah. When we talk about music, Danny Boy, you come from Chicago. There are a list of great singers from
Yes.
Chicago. Who are some of the artists that are the younger artist generation that are out that you're listening to, including the Chicago artists, but as a whole, when we talk about R&B?
I mean, when it comes to R&B, I like Tink. I like uh the what is it, Money Long, you know
Yes,
what I mean? But
yes.
Jasmine Sullivan, when it comes to soul singing and movement and lyrics, artists like that, you know what I mean? Because I'm a Donny Hathaway, Stevie Wonder, you know what I mean? I want to hear that note, but I want to hear those words. So I'm just so excited and stuck on Jasmine Sullivan and other artists that's like her. I'm
Yeah.
really into R&B and soul music.
Now, Danny Boy and a Jasmine Sullivan duet would be something
Ooh,
special.
Jasmine, I hope you see that. Let me put my face in and make sure, Jasmine.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. And so you talked about some of your favorites, Stevie Wonder and Donny Hathaway. So
Yes.
let me talk about this song, your current single, this song.
Yes.
I'm a discovery person. The hybrid soul, I pride myself on bringing great soul music. So when I was going through some new music, I saw your name, so I automatically just said, let me hear this. So
Oh, wow.
the song starts, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm hearing something. I'm hearing some Donny Hathaway and all.
Yes.
Let's talk about how you put your current single, this song, together, and who you worked with, and how that all started.
The writer D Lyric and
Uh-huh.
the producer Toxic,
Yeah.
out of Chicago. He's done a lot of music with Selena Johnson, Twista, uh, Keisha Cole. I mean, he's worked with a lot of great artists. And I just think that it was a great time. Usually I'll be so busy telling me I got to write on this record. I got to make sure that I put my 2 cents in. But, even on the album that I'm working on alongside of this song that's out now, it's like they were sitting in my closet when we came up with these records, and they just knew my business. Like, it hit so many strong points for me. And anything to do with Donny Hathaway, like when soon as the beat dropped, like I was all over it. So I'm so excited and amazed actually that the song has taken off like it is. Like, and I'm grateful for that, because it's so hard to get, I guess, to hear the type of music that I'm into, where
Yeah.
radio is jumping on it, and the world is jumping on it. You have to do so many things, and I've been trying to do this for a while, and I'm just appreciative of the moment. Of the
Yeah.
moment, like I'm ready to sing now. I'm ready to get on some stages and see some line dances. I see certain people have line dances to it, so I'm just ready to sing.
Absolutely. It is a beautiful song, and a
Thank you.
beautiful classic song. Um, you come from an era that has been able to see a lot, right? So you came
Mhm.
before social media, but now you're an artist that's in social media. How have you adapted and embraced Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok?
Oh, I live on it. At least Instagram and Facebook. TikTok,
Uh-huh.
I'm still trying to figure out. But I find that it's very important, especially for someone that have a product or music, an artist. I think that it's the best place to display your talent because years ago, companies had to spend so much money to get in front of all of these people. You
Right.
know, if they could, they wished that or hoped that the people that they put out in the streets would get in front of these people. So to
Yeah.
have an opportunity to just pick up your phone and get on Instagram and people are supporting you and Facebook and people telling you where they're from and you just see people, hey, I'm from Argentina and I'm from Virginia and I'm from, you know, they tell you these different places that they're from. Nothing else could beat that. You know what I mean? I wish we had that back in the 90s. It would have been amazing to have an Instagram or Facebook during that time.
Yeah, I had a quick question thought. Do you think that social media would have been advantageous for the death row posse? Uh,
Yeah, all of us would be locked up. No, I'm just playing. Everybody be in jail. No, I'm just kidding.
oh
Maybe.
yeah.
Yeah. Everything has its timing, and I'm grateful that I'm grateful that we missed that on in certain aspects. But I definitely, if Death Row would have had, or any other record company would have had Instagram or Facebook,
Yeah.
definitely for people to wake up and see how those albums, to watch Pac during those moments, work on those records, to see
Yeah.
what I see. I wish it would have been something like that. And I would be able to go back into a reel and look at that story and see it because you really never get an opportunity to understand a picture when you're standing in it.
Yeah.
You get a chance to understand the situation that you were part of when you step back. I didn't know what was going on with Death Row while I was there. I just knew that Suge Knight took care of me greatly. I was blessed to be in an opportunity of around the Motown of the 90s to work with those type of artists. And that's all that I knew. Like that was something that I had always dreamed of. And now stepping back as the man, you know, had I known that I was around the king of rap, a person like Tupac Shakur, I would have tried to learn a little more. I
Right.
wouldn't have been that little kid that was like when Pac was saying certain things like, oh man, here you go. I would have sat under the tree to catch some of the fruit fall off. So, but I'm grateful for the time that I did have during those moments.
Yeah. So your new project, what is the title of the project? Your new album?
Black Heart. Black Heart.
Okay. You've
Yes.
recorded so much. You can recorded so much while you were on death row and out through the years. Will any of those songs be on this new project?
No, not at all. Actually, we recorded actually a lot of songs
Mm-hmm.
for the Black Heart album. We have extra songs, but none of the Death Row material. That's something that Snoop Dogg has over there with the with the catalog that he assumed with Death Row, and I look forward to seeing what he do with that.
That's dope. That's dope. Any special features that you can tell us about on this upcoming project?
No features, and that's what I wanted. Like I was like, I want Rick Ross, I want such and such. I started naming names, but this album came out, when I tell you it was organically made, it was like putting some seeds in, and it grew daily. It took us about 2-3 weeks to cut the record, and I couldn't imagine, an album that I would be so proud of and ready to put out within that time. But I was blessed to get with some great producers, great writers, and the vibe was right and the timing was right. And I'm excited for y'all to hear it. Like this song is an incredible song, but oh my God, like I'm sitting up wondering, I hope they like this one. I hope they like this one. So I'm excited for you guys to hear the rest of it.
We've seen you grow up, like I said, in the music industry throughout the years. Who is Danny Boy now?
Wow, the Maverick.
Okay.
Danny Boy the Maverick. Like if I believe in it, I'm going for it. I don't worry about what people think as far as when it comes to negative. My energy is gonna only accept positive things, and anything below that, I'll roll over it. You know what I mean? Because I'm just not afraid. I'm not afraid of anything. I wish I wasn't this afraid. Um, I would have known that I was living in, being afraid to be who I am,
Mhm.
100% unapologetically Danny Boy. And that's who I am today. The bruises and the bumps, everything that I went through, the pain, the suffering, guess what? It made me who I am today. I don't want to redo because some of those things are very hard for me. I don't want to redo, but I thank God for my testimony. This is it. This is just the testimony. And some people I used to be like, man, I just want to make it so bad. And then you see some people it take 30, 40 years for them to get in position where they want to be. And I
Right.
just hope, I pray to God that this is the door that I'm walking into.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm so excited to listen to your new project.
Yeah.
Now you say you love being on social media. And so I'm
Yes.
sure you have seen the conversation that a lot of people are talking about R&B. What's your thoughts on the question of, is R&B dead?
Maybe labeled wrong. You
Yeah.
know, what I mean by that, you got a lot of artists that they pick and they say, oh, this is their they're number one on the R&B charts. I don't know how it got there. I assume that it's some young person that graduated from college and don't really know the differentiation
Yeah.
in between hip hop, rap, R&B. But for me, rhythm and blues is and has always been what it is, rhythm and blues. And there was a time back in the day we used to wish that we would cross over and be on the pop chart. You know what I mean? And now you have artists like me wishing that we can be on the R&B chart because we're in competition with rappers or other artists. But just to let you know that I thank God for where I am. I'm able to sing, ready to be booked. R&B ain't dead. Maybe R&B ain't dead. Switch the radio station, download some Danny Boy, download some other great artists, the Jasmine Sullivans and other artists like that. Download them. R&B is definitely alive, and I thank God for the movement that it's about to take because I see it coming.
Yeah. In your journey, you talk about just being like 100% authentically you.
Yes.
You speak about, as far as your platforms, mental wellness and suicide
Yes.
prevention. Tell us
Yes.
about your journey of, wanting to be an advocate of mental wellness and suicide awareness.
Well, I adopted that for my own heart and for myself. The name of my organization is Love Against Suicide and Hate. In my book, I spoke about I was dating someone and they committed suicide. And I've experienced death in many ways. I've lost people in car accidents, murders. I mean, you name it. But I've never, ever felt the feeling after seeing someone so young leave this place uh, due to suicide. And I learned in that there's a lot of people out that's hurting, that wish that they could talk to someone. But especially for our community, the Black community, it's so hard for young men or Black men to speak and really share their inner feelings because, they're going to be deemed as soft or, you know, yeah, where it's really hard for us to share our thoughts without being deemed soft or some other type of emotion connected to it.
Yeah.
And it's important for me because, out of living this life that I'm living, it's a lot of young people that's hurting. And it's our duty. I remember coming from a class of school where, when there was something that was going on outside that shouldn't be going on, and the kids was outside, the guys in the hood would be like, hey, it's time for y'all to go in. They would kind of tell us what was about to go down. And that's what's missing. A lot of people are hurting and mental health in the Black community or the brown community is really being missed. Because again, people have been damaged for years and never had any attention paid to it. I just get over it. My mama died. I'll live it. I'll live it. I'll just outlive it. She died 10 years ago. I never really got therapy for it. I go to the service. This is how we live a life. And with all that trauma packed up on top of trauma, it'll eventually burst. So I'm hoping to be a person to speak on that. And I model myself as the preacher of R&B and be able to speak in places where, when my pastor is busy speaking on Sundays, I'm able to speak in that place on Saturdays or Fridays to invoke what God has gifted me to do.
Absolutely. My last question to you is, what is some advice that you would give an aspiring artist or that is coming into the music industry about patience?
Be patient or become a patient. Be patient or become a patient. If this was based on my timing or the numbers that was on my clock, I would have been timed out. I would have been where I wanted to be. This business, like I said, it's especially now. You could wake up tomorrow and someone that was making a joke could have the record deal that you've been praying for years. We just don't know when it's our turn. What I am learning is God do for the just and the unjust. And everything for me, I think it says that the righteous for the righteous, the good is stored for the righteous. And I just sit back and try to do right by people. I think that's more important than anything. Keep singing if you're a singer. Keep rapping if you're a writer. If you're a writer, keep writing. If you're a painter, keep painting. That's all that I could say. Don't base it off of time. Base it off of what you put into it.
Yes, I love it. Well, your time is now.
Thank you,
God bless
Jesus.
you. Yes, God bless you.
Thank you. I
Black
received
Heart.
that.
Black Heart
Yes.
is the new album. Do you have,
Yes.
what is the release date?
The release date is Valentine's Day, and we'll be doing some real big announcement coming up real soon in Chicago with a lot of great guests that's coming in Chicago. And find out more on my Instagram, Danny Boy Steward. I'm always sharing my business and talking too much and stay in trouble on Instagram. So follow me on Instagram, Danny Boy Steward.
Thank you for your time, Danny Boy. We support
Thank you so much, beautiful.
At the Hybrid Soul. We love the song, and we're looking for more music coming from you and seeing you out here in these streets perform.
Thank you.
And we got to come and check that restaurant out when we're in Chicago. Tell me the name of the restaurant.
The name of the restaurant is called Oh Danny Boys, and my slogan is Lick My Fork, 1247 Southwestern on the west side of Chicago. If you're ever in Chicago, come lick my fork. I appreciate it so much too for your platform, for taking the time out. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's the Hybrid Soul with Kelly Kinkaid and my guest today, Danny Boy. Thank you so much.